So my friend, I want to continue to help you to understand our Trini lingo. So here goes. In TNT, we have a set of keys. And a setter means plenty. Now, some of those keys are obzoki, that means you're big and out of shape. Boki is when you take a marble and pitch it and hit a man on his knuckles. Funky is when something's smelling bad. And if people don't want to take you serious, they say, boy, you jokey. A tiny bit is chinky. And when you have cross-eye, we say your eyes corky. When you get up in the morning, your voice is sound croaky. And we had a Calypsonian, his name was Blakey. And a lot of people is lying by Smokey and the partner Bunty. Now, don't get confused with the names of some of the places down here. For example, we do have rich people living in Baratpur. Day Bay is not a bay that you could only go in the day. There's a place in South, just before Pinal, which, by the way, has nothing to do with urinating in a canal. And D Bay is in Port of Spain, but it's not a bay, it's a village. Yeah. And don't interfere with any man living deep south. You see, not because he's from Ikakas, it means Ikakas. Zebra Peak is not a mountain, it's a herb. And Labre has pitch, not donkeys. And during the pandemic, we nearly get sued from one of those companies making vaccines because the whole world was saying Pfizer good. But in Trinidad, we say Pfizer bad. And that is a place in South. Now, don't get confused with Guaracara and Hazikara. The first one is a place, and the other one means confusion. In TNT, you could be living so far that you're living behind God's back. And up in the east, we have a place where a lot of foreigners live, but it's called Born Here. And talking about Born Here, you know we have a lot of Chinese who come here. But let me introduce you to some others who from here, like Bobo Lee. That's a person who everybody beats up. Zando Lee is a lizard and a former Calypsonian. Lolly is a popsicle on a stick that you lick. One of the best cricketers named Kyron Pollard, we call him Polly. In fact, we like Chinese so much that we take a man and make him prime minister, all because his name was Rowley. And the person in charge of educating the nation's children is Nian Gatsby Dolly. I feel the only Lee Trinis don't like is early. Oh, and by the way, chow is not Chinese. That is something we make with things like green mango, mixed salt and pepper and other seasoning. And mingpeling is also not Chinese. That is somebody who cheap and don't like to spend at all. I will tell you about the chins on them in the next video. Now, we have a lot of Venezuelans here too, but I don't know Spanish too well. So when I see any of them, I just say, mucho, mucho, because I hear it means a lot to them. We know that someone who lacks sense is stupid, but in Trinidad you could be chupid or else stupid, or even kunumunu. And anytime one of them talk, you just have to say, geez and nages, or oh shimps man. That means you're annoyed. Someone who is real skinny is bony, which is the same as maga. But get this, even somebody who is maga, as long as he have a pika, he's strong enough to pull bull. That's when you use your pika as a taxi. Now, if you see a group of 2 or more people in a corner looking like they're gossiping or talking about somebody, they shushuing. Them same people like kankalang. That is confusion. And if one of them getting on wild and unruly without decorum, that is a wajang. If somebody asks you if your father is a glassmaker, it means you're blocking them. And if somebody says, watch yourself, you don't have to get a mirror, it means get out the way. And if someone says something like, watch how you're crossing the road, again, no mirror, it means be careful how you cross. Down here, cargo has nothing to do with freight or transport. It means you're unable to attend. For example, I want to go to the party, but I didn't get invited, so I can't go. And if you do go without an invitation, then you storm. If somebody says you're ignorant, it doesn't mean that you don't know. It means you have a bad temper. Now, a Big Mac is a burger. But down here, a Big Maco is somebody who always minding other people's business. Mama guy is not your grandmother's boyfriend. That's when you tell somebody something that's not really true just to make them feel good. Like, that dress real take your girl. Take it means it looking good on you. But if she doesn't believe you, she could always tell you, don't put me on scenes now. Ma pipi is not your grandmother with a urine problem. That's a snake. I ain't feeling too hot has nothing to do with the weather. That's when you're not feeling well or you're feeling so-so. And if you're feeling sorry for yourself, people say you're acting like you poor me one. Down here, a dragonfly is a batty mamselle. And if you're counting by tens, we don't know anything about 20 and 30 and 40. Nah, it's 20 and 30 and 40. You know what I'm talking about. If someone tells you that they're going off, that means they have diarrhea. But if they say, like, you going off or what? That means, are you out of your mind? In TNT, if you get trapped in a building that burned down, you could get burned up. Anytime after 12 noon is evening, and early in the morning before the sun comes up, that is 4-day morning. In TNT, you could get charged for breaking a traffic light even though you didn't touch it. That means you didn't stop at the red light. And them soca artists always want permission to mash up the place. That means put on a real good performance that they have the crowd in a frenzy. We don't have bounty hunters in TNT. So when you hear a fella tracking a girl, that simply means he is pursuing a relationship with her. And if they say she cutting style, it doesn't mean that she's a seamstress. It simply means that she's playing hard to get. And if you hear tomato choker, don't worry, that's simply something to eat. Now the words tack back means that you pretend you're leaving, but you turn around and come back quickly so that you can catch somebody in some devious action. For example, I tell my wife I was so sick, I was staying in bed and I'm not going to work. And after she leave for work, she make a tack back and catch me outside talking to the lady next door. And you would say, well, she rebuked me. But in Trinidad, we would say, I get buff. Now, if you hear someone say they want to be mobile, that doesn't mean that they want to be active. They're probably just asking for 2 cell phones from TSTT. Now, I know it's endless things I'm laying on you. Endless means plenty. And you might have preferred it to be cheer up, cheer up. That means little by little. So if it's too much, don't feel no how. That means don't feel bad. What you can do for the current time is drink some tea and take it light before you black out. Till next time, I gone.